welcome to the Bernat Stitch Along. It's our final week, guys. Week 6 of 6. I am your knitting host, Kristen. I have had so much fun getting to know everybody, seeing your projects, sharing these great knitting patterns with you from Joanne, enjoying these Bernat blanket yarns. So many beautiful colors to choose from. It's been really cool to see the color choices that you guys have been making as well. And I just had the best time. So before we get started, I just want to extend a big thank you to all of you, as well as to Joanne.com for selecting me as the knitting host of this Bernat Stitch Along for the very first time. It's just been such an honor and so much fun. So we have the mystery clue. I just want to remind you though, we have that basket going on. So it's the last day of the basket. Make sure to check that out, as well as that pillow that we did in weeks 1, 2, and 3. Those patterns are totally available to you at any time. They are great to complete your entire home decor ensemble with these beautiful shades and different textures for your home. It's just the greatest. The mystery clue today is that we are doing the outer borders. Okay, so last week in week 5, it looked like the blanket was pretty much done. Oh, but no, we're getting fancy, and we are going to be finishing it up with 3 of our circular needles. So if you remember, we used 1 circular needle throughout these entire 5 weeks. But this last week, we are actually using 3 circular needles simultaneously because we're going to be knitting it in the round, huge, 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 in this beautiful, big blanket that we've all been knitting up together. So let's just go on into it and knit it up. Using your main color, for me, I am using Country Blue, of course, in Bernat Blanket. And we begin by picking up stitches. So we take 1 of our circular needles and we pick up 102 stitches on one edge. And then that same circular needle picks up 102 stitches on the second edge. And then you're going to take a second circular needle and you are going to pick up the stitches on the 3rd and 4th edges and add a stitch marker to each corner. I'm using an orange one to denote the beginning of the round for me. And then here everything is on my lap. I have my 3 corners in blue and then the beginning of my round with my little orange stitch marker. Because of the graspy nature of this yarn, my needles were fine just letting them wait for me as I knit in the round. But if you are concerned about your needle slipping off your stitches, you can get point protectors. A friend of mine also uses wine corks. And we are going to begin just by knitting all the way around, and we're taking our 3rd circular needle to do this and just start knitting this first round all the way around. And as you knit around, another needle will become empty, and that is what you'll use to continue knitting. We're going to be doing make 1 increases on our even rows. So here on row 2, we begin with just a knit 1, and then the increase is a make 1. So we take our left needle and we pick up the yarn right there, and we're going to take our right needle and we're going to knit into the back. So we go ahead and we pick that yarn up in the back and we knit it through right there, and that is making 1 stitch. And knit all the way down the row until you have 1 stitch remaining right before your stitch marker. At this point, we make 1 again. So with our left needle, we're going to pick up the yarn right there in between the 2 stitches. With our right needle, we're going to knit through the back, and so we're making 1 right here. Your next stitch is going to be to just knit that stitch right there before the stitch marker. Slip it right on there. And then we're going to continue on by knitting 1 we're going to slip our stitch marker. So I'm just going to take it off right here. And you'll repeat these 2 rows 5 more times. So that's a total of 13 rows. And we finish up with these really pretty rounded corners from the make 1 increases we just did in our main color. And now we're casting off, beginning by casting off 6 stitches, and I am just going to use the classic cast off method. After we've cast off these 6 stitches, it is time to do the knit 5 below. This is a fun one. It feels a little bit like falling off a cliff. So we take this stitch off of our needle, bloop, and then right there, those little yarn ladders, we're going to go ahead and drop those stitches intentionally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stitches dropped. So you have those 5 yarn ladders, and then go ahead and pick up that stitch right there with your right needle. And underneath all of those yarn ladders, put the point of your needle into the back, and then you'll take your working yarn and put it around your needle to go ahead and knit that stitch, that 5th stitch down there, all the way through. And all those yarn ladders are right behind it. And then we go ahead and cast off, and we're casting off 6 total. So here's casting off 1, we cast off 6 all the way across. And let me go ahead and show you this knit 5 below one more time. You know, with this yarn, it's really easy. You don't have to worry. You take that stitch off, and then you just drop 5 stitches intentionally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. After I have 5 little yarn ladders that I've released, I go ahead, I put my needle through that stitch, and I'm going to take the point of my needle to the back right under all of those ladders, and with my working yarn go ahead and knit through right through that stitch right there. And that is K5B, knitting 5 below. And continue this pattern all the way around until it is time to weave in your yarn ends. At the top of your K5B, if you also have a little loop like this, then just take one of your knitting needles and pull the stitches from the wrong side of your work just slightly on either side to sort of help spread those out. And here is how our little ruffly scalloped edge turns out. It is just such a sweet finishing touch. And now it's time for me to show off my finished Bernat Stitch Along blanket. It looks so great with our textured and tasseled pillow, as well as our garter stitch basket. Congratulations, everyone. So thank you so much for joining me here at the Bernat Stitch Along. I've had so much fun getting to know everybody. I am Kristen of Studio Knit, so we can continue knitting together if you follow me on my channels. I also have a YouTube channel with lots of great knitting videos for you over there. And keep on posting those photos, helping each other out by answering questions. And I just hope you guys are enjoying your beautiful blanket, your pillow, your basket. It's been so much fun. I'll miss you, but I'll see you over at Studio Knit, right? Okay, you guys. Bye.